In today's video, we are diving deep to understand what CAC is, why it's so important, and why most of you growing your e-commerce brands today may actually be using the wrong calculations to define the correct cost to acquire a customer and therefore scaling your brands in the wrong way. My name is Arsalan from AKM, where we help scale, grow, and invest in the DTC brands that we love. And if you've spent even a small period of time in the digital marketing space, you have probably heard of the term CAC tossed around like confetti. But how much do you really know about this vital and often underestimated business metric, and most of the time miscalculated metric? First, let's cover the basics. CAC is an acronym for Customer Acquisition Cost, which refers to the average cost of acquiring a new customer or a customer in general through your marketing efforts. This metric is particularly popular in e-commerce because it can create benchmarks for every single type of business, whether you're selling health and wellness products, online memberships, or just pretty much any niche or industry in between. Simply put, understanding your CAC ratio often sets the struggling businesses apart from those who flourish in the market today. Now let's dive deeper into what contributes to your CAC numbers and how you can leverage this important metric to achieve streamlined growth for your business, especially as we approach Q4 in a couple of months. In this video, I'll be going into what CAC actually is and why does it really matter, how to calculate your CAC based on all the different types of formulas, and yes, there are different formulas, a big lesson in understanding your CAC, what the different types of CACs are, and which one should you be using, whether it's a business CAC, weighted, new customer CAC, paid CAC, retention CAC, and so forth. There are a lot of them and they can be confusing. And then finally, I'll be diving into 3 ways you can actually improve your CAC or your cost per acquisition, if that's what you prefer to call it, at the end of this video. So with that said, part 1, what is CAC and why does it matter? As I mentioned, CAC is an important business metric that refers to how much money a business spends to acquire a customer through its marketing channels and as a business as a whole. Depending on your marketing strategy and your business model, the cost of customer acquisition can vary widely from one brand to another. But making time to understand how your CAC factors into your marketing spend and your overall strategy can create much more effective ways of reaching your target audiences without wasting precious advertising dollars. Most importantly, having strong customer acquisition strategies can then give you an advantage over your competition and allow you to create more precision-like marketing campaigns. And unlike old school advertising methods that force businesses to become overly broad in their messaging, social media and other digital marketing avenues have made building targeted campaigns for your niche audience simple and so easy. So you can use these principles of CAC to increase your ROI, which is your return on investment, and attract more potential customers to your business. And this is exactly how. So first off, how do you calculate your CAC, or what is your CAC formula? Well, CAC, cost to acquire customer, is your total sales and marketing spend divided by the number of customers acquired. Now, technically, there are 2 ways to look at your CAC. In fact, there are even more. Either with business costs or without them is the most common. Now, in most marketing strategies, we look at this number with business costs included because it gives a more accurate picture of your real ROI when you're trying to scale and acquire customers. With that being said, here's how to calculate your CAC in 3 easy steps. Step 1, set a time frame. Like most data-driven calculations, CAC is most effective when narrowed down to a precise period of time. So whether you decide to look at your CAC on a weekly, monthly, or yearly basis, determining the time frame will give you the most accurate results. After you've done that, step 2 is you can calculate your CAC. Now, thankfully, the customer acquisition cost formula is relatively easy to follow, allowing you to very quickly assess your CAC calculations and thereby if you're in line with your business goals or not. Now, firstly, you would just add up the total costs associated with your marketing campaigns. This can include everything from employee salaries to your marketing spend, to content creation tools, paid advertising costs, sales expenses, and anything that you utilize in your marketing strategy to acquire customers. Next up, you divide that number by the total number of customers acquired from your ad campaigns. This will show you what your current CAC ratio is and allow you to make strategic adjustments to your ad spend based on those results and whatever that calculation ends up being or equating to. Perhaps even more importantly, this number indicates your ads has real effectiveness, which can help you fine-tune your messaging for your target audience. Now, if you're still a little bit confused, let's look at a very obvious and simple example. Now, imagine you're a SaaS company that sells CRM or customer relationship management tools, looking to attract new customers through target social media marketing. Now, in this scenario, your marketing costs might include things like paying your sales team, creative costs, paid ads on platforms like Google or Facebook or TikTok, and maybe any others that you end up using, or even things like inventory management and other business costs associated with your marketing overall. And then after calculating these costs, you can determine very clearly that you spent, let's say, around $30,000 on your marketing campaign and acquired around 2,000 new paying customers. Now, without any additional technical or production costs, this would give you a CAC of $15. However, if your SaaS products require additional business costs throughout the year and you decide to factor those into your CAC formula, then this number could actually be even higher. And that's why understanding which costs do belong in your cost to acquire customer calculations and don't belong is very important to get the accurate result that you're trying to strive for and grow your business dependent on. Now, step 3 is evaluating those metrics. Once you have your CAC number, you can compare it to other key business metrics within your company. And this can provide you invaluable information about your marketing efforts. Like, for example, which social media platforms are actually driving the highest ROI and impacting based on your target audience that you're trying to acquire. Here's a great way to imagine your CAC as told by Greek mythology. Unlike many other e-commerce metrics, CAC exists on a curve, with the lowest point being a customer who's willing to buy anything that you sell them, and the highest point being a customer who is nearly impossible to persuade to get them to buy a product. So for example, let's say your mother is the lowest point on your CAC curve. Like most loving parents, your mother would gladly buy anything from your business to support your dreams. This makes the cost of acquiring that customer and her business virtually non-existent and as close to free as possible. But on the opposite end of that spectrum, you have the Greek god of skepticism, known as Pyro. And as you can imagine, Pyro will not easily be persuaded to buy anything from your business, which makes the cost of acquiring a purchase from him incredibly expensive, and the most expensive on that curve that you have now visually drawn out for your business. Now, for every business, there is a volume number connected to every CAC number on that curve, meaning you can only acquire a certain amount of customers at that CPA or CAC. Now, the goal of evaluating your business metrics is to move along the CAC curve in a way that increases your overall revenue and eliminates wasted marketing spend to make sure that you're paying the best CAC that you should be at the volume that you're driving, and finding more strategic ways to acquire new customers without draining your ad spend as you continue along that curve. Essentially, what I'm trying to say here is that CAC curve forces you to consistently find ways to attract purchases from customers at the extreme end of that curve. And just like Pyro, the Greek god of skepticism who doesn't want to buy from you, by continuously recalibrating your marketing campaigns based on these results, you'll eventually be able to do just that. Now, with that being said, what are the different types of CACs and which should you use? Because I'm sure you've heard of many different variations. You have weighted CAC, business CAC, NCAC or new customer CAC. You have paid CAC for paid social channel CACs and paid search CACs. You have channel specific CACs. And then you even have some people that call the whole thing CPAs, which can get confusing. So which do you use? Which is the right way to optimize and scale based on which CAC? Now, these are questions that we get and hear all the time, but fear not, it's easy once you understand and apply the steps that we just covered. And then once you know how to calculate your CAC, you can start breaking down these metrics even further by looking at the different types of CAC and what each one can tell you about the effectiveness of your advertising strategy. Now, unfortunately, many e-com business owners actually make the mistake of relying only on the average CAC to make the most important decisions about their marketing strategies. Now, the problem with this approach is that an average is not a reliable business metric, since it only represents the central value of your entire data set. In other words, the average customer does not align with your CAC average. Instead, what we tend to do when breaking down organizations and companies is we look at the various types of CAC that can provide us with more actionable insight about our audience. And for online businesses, you should really only be concerned with 5 main CAC types when evaluating your metrics. So with that being said, let's dive into them. First one, Business CAC. Business CAC is your total marketing expense divided by the number of new customers acquired. Business CAC is the most common type of metric in this category, and it's typically the first type of CAC when we look at developing a digital marketing strategy. This is the standard formula for calculating cost per acquisition, which starts by taking your total marketing expenses divided by the total amount of new customers acquired over a specific period of time. And I emphasize specific period of time because we're about to approach Q4. So for Q4, we would be maybe comparing it to our previous Q4 CAC in 2023 and then make decisions based on strategy off of that, not making decisions based on the CAC that we had in January to March. Now, another question that we might get asked, or you might be thinking, is why would I use this CAC over all the other CACs that you mentioned? Now, you can think of your business CAC as being the holistic picture of your customer acquisition costs. Now, for startups and small e-commerce businesses, this is a great tool for basically assessing your current sales funnel and adjusting it to meet your growth goals. After that, you have weighted CAC, which is your total ad spend divided by your total customers. Now, whereas business CAC focuses on your total costs for any given marketing campaign, weighted CAC is a little bit more specific. Instead of including other expenses like paying your employees and inventory management, weighted CAC is calculated by taking your total ad spend, dividing it by the total amount of customers acquired, and this eliminates the impact of other business costs from the equation and allows you to focus strictly on your marketing efforts. And again, why use it? When you isolate solely your advertising cost, it gives you a very clear picture on how effective your current strategy has been, and we then like to use this type of CAC to better plan our marketing campaigns and move advertising dollars away from strategies that aren't giving us the best results that we may want. Now, we like to use this type of CAC to better plan our marketing campaigns and move advertising dollars away from strategies that just aren't working to get the results that we do want instead. Now, after this, you have NCAC, or new customer CAC, and it's essentially your total marketing costs minus your retargeting costs, minus any referral program costs, minus any other customer retention costs, divided by only the new customers acquired. Now, this refers to specifically the amount of money that you spend to acquire brand new customers for your business, and only those. And to find this type of CAC, you would basically have to take your total marketing costs and take out anything to do with retargeting or your returning customers out of that equation to give you your real CPA for new customers. And again, why would you use this? Well, attracting potential customers is by far the most costly part of any marketing campaign and any business, which is why evaluating what your cost to acquire a new customer is so important. And with this insight, you can make better decisions about what type of maybe messaging you're using to bring in new business. After this, you have something which you might call paid CAC, which is your platform CAC times the platform spend plus any other platform CAC that you're spending on times that platform spend divided by the total spend. Now, whilst other types of CAC use the total number of all your marketing costs, paid CAC only deals with direct response advertising channels like Facebook, Google, or other avenues that encourage potential customers to purchase. This means that you can eliminate organic marketing strategies like SEO, branded content away from this calculation, and ultimately this allows you to accurately assess the ROI that you're receiving from said platforms, whether it's you're using Meta ads, Google ads, Snapchat, TikTok, and so forth. And again, why would you use this CAC over other CACs? Well, even though organic traffic is a key component in running an e-commerce business or a lot of businesses, the reality is that you still need to invest most of your marketing budget into paid advertising channels. That's why monitoring your paid CAC regularly is important so that you can be sure that your ad spend is being used in the most effective way possible. Now, following this, you have something that's called RCAC, or returning customer CAC, which is your total marketing cost for retargeting and retention divided by the total sales from returning customers. You can think of RCAC as the complete opposite of NCAC since it deals exclusively with returning customers. And in this scenario, you would calculate all of your marketing costs aimed at returning and retargeting customers divided by the total sales for these customers. And once more, why would you use this over the other CACs? Although most marketing campaigns are targeted at acquiring new customers, the value of retaining your existing customers can be underestimated a lot of of the time. For instance, many e-commerce brands are centered around achieving a high customer lifetime value or CLV, and to do this, you need strong customer retention strategies that keep these loyal buyers coming back over and over again. So evaluating your RCAC is one of the first steps towards doing this and seeing how effective you really are. And finally, after all of these various CACs that I've just gone through, you have channel specific CAC, which is just basically your total marketing cost of that particular channel divided by the total customers acquired from that channel or were attributed to that channel. Now, this last type of CAC is also one of the most specific CACs because it deals with individual marketing channels. So whether you're looking at Facebook, Google, email, or other marketing strategies or platforms you're running ads on or using to acquire customers, you want to know the unique cost to acquire a customer through those various platforms. And again, you might be wondering, why would you use this over the others? Now, in many ways, digital marketing is a bidding game. And this means that you have to be very strategic about where you place your advertising dollars, and monitoring the CAC for each specific marketing channel allows you to better determine which platforms are delivering the best results for your business and tweaking the strategies and reallocating ad dollars based upon that. So you can stop wasting your resources on marketing strategies that aren't really helping you to achieve those goals. But with all this information in mind, it's just as important to understand context. And why does it matter for all of the above? And that's because at AKM, we truly believe that data only matters when given context. On their own, each type of CAC is really just numbers on a spreadsheet. So to turn this into information that is actionable to you and to your business to achieve those objectives, you need to give that data context. From an e-commerce brand standpoint, context is the missing link between your business metrics and the next steps to take and meet your goals. To give context to your CAC numbers, you should start by asking yourself two important questions. The first one being, what is the relevance of all of this? No matter what type of CAC you're looking at, you should be able to notice a pattern as to whether that metric is improving, staying stagnant, or getting weaker based on how often you evaluate your data. For example, is this week better than the previous week? Is this month better than the previous month? Or is this year better or worse than the previous year? And that's why narrowing down your CAC is very, very important. For instance, let's say you decide to evaluate your paid CAC on a weekly basis. You'll be able to determine if the marketing channels you're actually using are still getting the results that you need week on week. And you can therefore shift your ad spend to either more lucrative platforms or options. To make it as simple as possible, giving relevance to your CAC gives you the power to clearly see which opportunities do or don't exist. The second question to ask is, what are we trying to optimize here for? Optimization is the key to achieving great results from your bottom line, and evaluating your CAC allows you to direct your platforms and efforts more precisely. But before you can do that, you need to decide which key metric you want to optimize for, which comes down to two main categories: LTV versus AOV, and understanding your Northstar metrics. Now, in our company and the brands that we work with and the brands that we own, we refer to these as Northstar metrics because they are the ultimate data point that guides all of your strategic marketing decisions. Depending on your business model, the type of e-commerce brand that you'll have, you'll likely look to optimize either your AOV or LTV, and your CAC numbers play a huge role in processing this information effectively and correctly. Now, your AOV, your average order volume, is your total revenue divided by the number of orders. And that basically refers to the average dollar amount that each customer spends visiting your online store. In terms of CAC, you can think of your AOV as the amount of money you spent to acquire any given customer versus the average amount of money that the customer spent when making a purchase with you. To find your optimal AOV, you would start by taking the current AOV of the store minus the profit margin that you want to achieve by the end of a specific time window, and whatever you have left will represent your business CAC. From there, you can also find your marketing CAC for that AOV and pass it along to your marketing team for further insight. Now, the second metric, your LTV, your lifetime value, the average purchase value times by the average purchase frequency times by the customer's lifespan. That gives you your LTV. Now, whilst AOV is an important metric, on the other hand, some brands benefit a lot more from focusing on their LTV, meaning the amount of money a customer will spend with that brand over a certain lifetime, or essentially your payback window. Now, LTV is a great North Star metric for brands that sell products that customers come back and buy for or need to repurchase, like supplement brands or other wellness products, skincare, and so forth. It's also beneficial for brands that have enough funding to pay more money upfront for the strategies that will pay off later down the line. Now, hypothetically, let's say that you have a brand looking to optimize your LTV over a 60-day window. You would start by looking at your AOV on the first day of that window with the goal of increasing it by day 60. So if a customer spent $100 on your store on the first day, a good goal would be to increase their purchases to $130 by the end of 60 days, giving you a 30% LTV in 60 days, which is well above the industry average. And now your CAC can come into the equation by subtracting that $130 on the 60-day mark and subtracting your target profit margin, leaving you again with your business CAC, which you can use to determine your strategy's effectiveness. Now, with all of this in mind through the rest of this video, what are the 3 ways that you can actually improve your CAC or your CPA, if that's what you prefer to call it? Now, of course, all of the metrics in the world don't make a difference if you don't have the right strategies to improve those numbers. Thankfully, there are 3 very simple paths that you can take to improve your CAC or CPA and give your brand the revenue boost that you might be looking for. The first one is better ad structures. Easier said than done, but digital platforms like Facebook, Google give your business many options to choose from when it comes to structuring their ads. Now, choosing the right structures can also help you eliminate the costs and streamline your results. It also means that you buy media better, or better media buying. Now, Facebook, for example, uses a bidding automation feature called cost caps that allow you to limit the number of ad spend that the platform can utilize for any given marketing campaign based on your metrics, CAC included. This allows you to set a target CAC or your bid for your ads, which then Facebook will decide where your marketing dollars go to and only spend if it believes it can hit that specific bid. We actually have a video, I think it was done around 1 to 2 months ago, where we dived into this in depth, and we made a guide on the best Facebook ad strategies to follow for 2024 and for 2025. Now, after that, click-through rate driven creatives. Once you have the strategic ad structures down and they're working for your business, you can optimize based on your click-through rate. Keep in mind that this is probably the most difficult path when improving your CAC, since it relies very heavily on introducing your brand to totally new audiences and enticing them to click on your ad in the first place. That's why being able to churn out a high volume of ad creatives is essential in today's market, as it allows you to run effective A/B strategies to narrow down which types of customers are more interested in engaging with you and thereby improving your CPA. Now, we at AKM have developed a very unique framework to produce ad creatives at scale to give you countless templates that you can use to get those creative ideas flowing for your brands. We actually have a video about that, which I highly recommend you watch, on supercharging how fast you can scale your ads and creatives for your brand, which you'll find somewhere over here. Lastly, you have conversion rate optimization, otherwise known as CRO. Now, similarly to click-through rate, optimizing your conversion rate means taking a number of people who click on your ad and increasing the number of them who make a purchase, or by causing them to make those purchases faster on the items that you might sell. Now, this goes beyond your ad creatives. Conversion rate optimization involves fine-tuning your entire sales funnel, including how your store is merchandised. Again, if you want more insight into that, we actually have a video on how to best leverage CRO to maximize your CAC and to get better profits out of your e-com brand, which you can find somewhere over here as well. And finally, how do you then start to leverage your CAC? Now, with so many metrics to evaluate, finding the time to properly optimize your CAC can be a huge challenge. Now, our team has supported e-commerce brands of every scale with data-driven strategies that deliver very powerful results. If you want to learn more about our process today and get a free audit from our team on how we can potentially help you scale for Q4 or going into the new year, then we can go ahead and just do that. My name is Arslan, founder at AKM, where we help scale, grow, and invest into the brands that we love. And I'll see you guys on the next video.